Jay-Z have Jigga, the guy who turned a crack game resume into a billion-dollar portfolio and somehow made marrying Beyoncé look casual. He's dropped more albums than some rappers have dropped mixtapes, and that's not a shot, unless you think it is. In this video, we're breaking down Jay-Z's entire discography, from Reasonable Doubt to 444 and everything in between. This is your cheat code to sounding like a genius in barbershop arguments, so sit back, grab a glass of Douce or a Capri Sun if you're underage, and let's get into it. Reasonable Doubt. We start in 1996. Tupac and Biggie were beefing, Nas was dropping It Was Written, and a Brooklyn hustler named Sean Carter pulled up with Reasonable Doubt, a streetwise album smoother than a silk durag in Harlem. Jay didn't rap like he wanted your attention, he rapped like he already had it. Key tracks? Can't Knock the Hustle, where Mary J. Blige sings the hook like she knew Jay was gonna be a billionaire. Dead Presidents 2 still gets sampled to this day. Brooklyn's Finest, collab with Biggie that aged better than 90s R&B fashion. Critics loved it. The streets worshipped it. But mainstream America? Hey, they were still trying to figure out if Giga was a Pokemon. Reasonable Doubt didn't go platinum at first, but it's now hailed as one of the greatest debut albums in hip-hop history. Jay wasn't asking for respect. He was coming for the throne. And spoiler alert, he gets it. After Reasonable Doubt, the streets were like, yo, Jay's the next king. But then Biggie died, and Jay tried to fill those shiny Versace shoes way too soon. In my lifetime, Fallen 1 had potential, but it also had Sunshine. That track was so bubblegum it should have come with a scratch and sniff sticker. But let's be fair, Jay was grieving. He lost his mentor and best collaborator. He was also testing out this flashy suit and sunglasses version of himself. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. It's like when your barber talks you into a new cut, and halfway through you realize this ain't it. Highlights? Streets is Watching, Straight Fire, Where I'm From, Brooklyn Anthem, You Must Love Me. Vulnerable, deep, and underappreciated. Jay later admitted this album didn't feel like him. It was like watching a pit bull try to walk in church shoes. YL 2, Hard Knock Life, 1998, Mainstream Mayhem. This is the album that kicked the door open. Jay-Z took a little Orphan Annie sample and made it gangsta. That's the most New York thing ever. Key bangers. Hard Knock Life, Ghetto Anthem. Money, Cash, Hoes. Can I Get A, which low-key launched Ja Rule's whole career. This was the album that made white kids in the suburbs yell Jay-Z like they grew up in Bed-Stuy. It went 5x platinum, won a Grammy, and turned Hav from Next Up to Can't Be Stopped. He still had bars, but now the beats were bigger, the hooks were catchier, and the money? Let's just say he wasn't driving Lexus coupes anymore. He was the CEO of Roc La Familia, and the whole label was eating. This was Jay-Z's commercial arrival, and he did it without selling out. He just sold better. Volume 3. Life and Times of S. Carter, 1999. The Shiny Suit Era Done Right. By 1999, Jay wasn't just outside. He was on every screen, every station, and every limo roof. Volume 3 was flashy, fast-paced, and full of flexes. He wasn't just rapping for the streets anymore. He was rapping for the Forbes list. Key joints. Big Pimpin'. The unofficial anthem of yacht parties and reckless bachelor trips. Do It Again. The party starter. Come and Get Me. Classic Hav Arrogance 1010. Oh, and Timbaland. He snapped on Snoopy track. It was like he threw drums down the stairs and made magic out of it. Jay was fully comfortable being rich now, and he made sure you knew it. But unlike others in the shiny suit era, Jay still had bars. 5. The Dynasty. Roc La Familia, 2000. The Family Business. Originally meant to be a Rockefeller posse cut album, but Jay said, nah, I got this. He basically let Bleak Beans and Freeway guest star on his project. But the real story here? Just Blaze and Kanye West. This album introduced their soul sample-heavy sound and set the tone for the blueprint. Standouts. Intro, arguably his greatest opening track ever. This Can't Be Life. Scarface came in like your big cousin fresh out of life lessons. I Just Wanna Love You, Give It To Me. Peak Neptune's energy. Pharrell with the hook, Hav with the sauce. Dynasty wasn't his best album, but it was the launch pad for what came next. Jay was stacking his roster, his producers, and his catalog. He was no longer just playing the game, he was building the league. 6. The Blueprint, 2001. Soul Samples and Subtle Smoke. September 11th, 2001. While the world was collapsing, The Blueprint dropped and still went platinum. Jay-Z was at war with Nas, Mobb Deep, and anyone else who thought they were next in line. And how did he fight back? with sped-up soul samples, battle bars, and a smoothness that made lyrical murder sound like jazz. Classic joints. Takeover, the diss track that started the fire. You Don't Know, Hav in Beast Mode, Song Cry, emotional gangsta vibes, Never Change, Kanye in his sample bag. This album didn't just change Jay-Z's career, it shifted hip-hop's entire sound. Kanye West and Just Blaze became stars, and Jay, he declared himself the best rapper alive, and made it believable. It was high art for hustlers. 7. The Blueprint. 2. The Gift and the Curse. 2002. Too Much Sauce. Then he dropped a double album. Because when you're rich, petty, and feeling yourself, you release 25 songs and dare people to say something. Problem is, Blueprint 2 had too much filler. If Jay had trimmed the fat, it could have been a top 3 album. But instead, we got a bloated buffet with a few 5-star meals. Highlights: Excuse Me Miss, Certified Date Night Anthem, Meet the Parents, criminally underrated storytelling, Blueprint 2. Jay claps back at Nas and revises his takeover energy. But for every gem, there's a head scratcher. Do we really need Please? Part 2? Still. A decent album with legendary moments. Jay was experimenting. Some of it slapped. Some of it sounded like he was figuring out which yacht to buy next. 8. The Black Album 2003. The Perfect Exit. Kinda. Jay-Z said he was retiring. He threw a farewell concert at Madison Square Garden, dropped the Black Album, wore all black like The Omen, and the world believed him for like 8 minutes. Let's be honest. This album felt like a mic drop. Every track had a different producer. Pharrell, Kanye, Just Blaze, Timbaland, Rick Rubin. It was like Jay put the Avengers together and said, "Make me sound immortal." Certified classics. What More Can I Say? Humble Flexing. Encore. The farewell anthem that we now know was a lie. 99 Problems. Produced by Rick Rubin, pure chaos and charisma. Moment of Clarity. Eminem beat. Jay gets introspective about his balance of art versus sales. Jay gave us soul, bars, storytelling, and just enough vulnerability to make it timeless. If he had actually retired here, he'd still be top 3. But he didn't, because hip-hop needed him, and he kinda needed it too. 9. Kingdom Come, 2006. The grown man rap nobody asked for yet. 3 years later, surprise! Jay unretired like your uncle who left the streets but still pulls up to cookouts in Gucci loafers. He dropped Kingdom Come and it was decent, not trash, but definitely not the Black Album 2.0. Standouts: Lost One, touching on Yeah, Dame, and personal loss. Do You Wanna Ride? Smooth, underrated. Show Me What You Got. Just Blaze and that blaring horn section. Jay was in his I Drink Wine Now era. He was 37, rich, and trying to talk grown man stuff to a generation still blasting Crank That Soulja Boy. Critics were harsh, but the album had moments. It's the rap version of a comeback boxing match. You respect it, but you knew his footwork wasn't the same. 10. American Gangster, 2007. Frank Lucas with a flow. Inspired by the American Gangster film, Jay dropped his own soundtrack, minus the movie studio's approval. That's some real I'll fund it myself mogul energy. The album is vintage Hav, soul samples, crime tales, and grown man elegance. Standout tracks: Rock Boys and The Winner Is. The horns alone deserve their own Grammy. No hook. Just Jay and the truth. Ignorant Shit. Vintage Hav meets vintage Neptunes. Jay wasn't trying to compete with ringtone rap here. He was curating a concept album like a Don Draper who used to move weight. Critics loved it. The culture respected it. And the bars, razor sharp. This was Reasonable Doubt in a tailored Tom Ford suit. 11. The Blueprint 3, 2009. Business. Billboard, Billionaire Moves. By this point, Jay wasn't just rapping, he was launching stadiums, champagne, and streaming platforms. The Blueprint 3 was commercial Hav at full power. The production leaned futuristic, the features were elite, and the rollout was presidential. Highlights: Empire State of Mind, New York's unofficial anthem, sorry Frank Sinatra, Run This Town, Rihanna, plus Kanye, plus Jay, start instant radio domination, DOA, Death of Auto-Tune, Jay telling rappers to put the T-Pain down. The album had a message: I'm not in the game anymore. I own the game. Jay was everywhere. Forbes, Obama's playlist, your mom's Spotify. Sure, some purists didn't love it, but this was legacy-building Hav, polishing his crown while reminding us, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. 12. Watch the Throne, 2011. Versace drapes and global bars. This was Hav and Kanye at the height of their powers, before therapy, before beef, before Twitter fingers. Watch the Throne wasn't just an album. It was a flex offset to orchestral trap beats and Givenchy fits. Jay and Ye weren't rapping to the block. They were rapping from private jets about the block. Cultural bangers. Otis, where they chopped Otis Redding and made soul sound reckless. Nunchucks in Paris. The official anthem of rich friends losing their minds overseas. No Church in the Wild. Intro music for every dramatic Instagram reel since 2011. Jay played Big Brother. Ye played Mad Genius. Together, they made luxury rap a genre. This was the first time Jay-Z truly sounded like royalty because he was rapping in palaces. 13. Magna Carta, Holy Grail, 2013. Art Talk with a platinum plaque. Jay-Z in 2013 was in full mogul mode. He dropped Magna Carta, Holy Grail through a Samsung app. Yes, a rap album that came with your phone. Iconic or ridiculous? Maybe both. But hey, it went platinum before it even hit stores. Standouts. Holy Grail F it Justin Timberlake. Drama, vocals, and rich guy problems. Picasso Baby. Jay rapping like Basquiat's Ghost was in the booth. Tom Ford. The closest thing to a runway show in 808s. The album was part art exhibit, part flex tape. Some critics hated it. Others appreciated Jay's commitment to staying ahead of the curve, even if he was rapping about fine art like he just walked out of Sotheby's. Let's be honest, Jay wasn't trying to win over the kids anymore. He was speaking directly to hedge fund managers and old hustlers with season tickets. 14. 444, 2017, a mature Hav, vulnerable Hav. Jay-Z said, "Y'all want grown man rap?" Then he gave us an album that sounded like it was written on a therapist's couch with incense burning. 444 is introspective, raw, and emotionally expensive. Jay opens up about cheating, trauma, financial literacy, generational curses, the usual billionaire therapy starter pack. Highlights. 444, a literal apology to Beyonce. The story of OJ, a crash course in black wealth over cartoon samples. Smile, where his mom comes out and Jay delivers one of his most heartfelt verses ever, all produced by No ID. This is the most personal Jay we've ever heard. He wasn't flexing, he was confessing. And somehow it hit harder than all the iced out bars combined. 15. Everything is Love, 2018, W. Beyonce. The Carter Tape. Right after the world found out Hav cheated and Bey made a cultural event out of dragging him, they dropped a joint album like, "Yeah, we good," and also, "We rich." Everything is Love is a flex, a love letter, and a business move. They recorded it in the Louvre. The Louvre. Standouts. Apished. Beyonce out-rapping half the game. Love Happy. Post-fight peace talk. Boss. Them letting us know Blue Ivy has better credit than most adults. It's not Jay's deepest album, but it's an essential chapter in the saga. Because it proved one thing. You can be messy, imperfect, and still end up dancing with your wife in the most famous art museum in the world. 16. Post-album era. Mogul moves, guest verses, and Grammy flexes. Jay hasn't dropped a solo album since 444, but don't get it twisted. He never left. He's been sliding on tracks like a Hall of Famer doing exhibition games. Guest verse body bags include What's Free? Meek Mill. Hav rapped like it was 2001, and Meek owed him money. God Did. DJ Khaled. 4-minute verse that had the internet calling him the In Real Time. Neck and Wrist. Pusha T. Vintage Arrogant Jay with a side of Watch the Throne nostalgia outside the booth. Jay-Z is now a billionaire, a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, owner of champagne brands, art collections, streaming services, and more social capital than LinkedIn. The man literally turned a crack hustle into generational wealth, and he's rapped about every step of the climb. 17. Final verdict. Is Jay-Z the GOAT? So, is Jay-Z the greatest rapper of all time? Let's run the stats. Longevity spanned 3+ decades with a top-tier album in everyone. Lyrics, punchlines, stories, double entendres, introspection, he's got all of it. Cultural impact, he made wearing button-ups cool. He made Cristal sales spike. He made takeover a verb. Final thought. Jay-Z didn't just survive the rap game. He evolved it. From Marcy to Madison Square. From dead presidents to real presidents. He turned pain into poetry. And then turned poetry into power.